Welcome back to High Mileage Need Love 2. Today I'm doing a transmission filter on this 2013 Ford F-150 with the 5.0 and the 6-speed transmission. Let's get started. Okay, here's everything you're going to need. Transmission pan gasket, transmission filter, automatic transmission fluid, some kind of gun to undo the bolts or a hand ratchet, an open-ended 19mm, and an 8mm socket. Part numbers are okay. You're also going to need something to fill the transmission, and it would help if you have something to drain the transmission. Fluid extractor and a fluid fill. The reason being is the transmission pan does not have a drain plug. Okay, so the first thing you have to do, whether you have a fluid extractor or not, is to pop open the dipstick, which is located on the passenger side of the transmission, right by the catalytic converter and slightly above the transmission pan. So just get an open-ended 19 on there, give it a tap, and it is a two-piece design. So you have a metal outer cap and the dipstick inside, as you can see. So this just slides apart. This is your dipstick. This is where you're going to stick back into the transmission to measure your fluid level after you're done. So this next step, if you have a fluid extractor, you will go through the transmission fill port or dipstick port and extract as much fluid as you can before undoing the pan. So I'm going to extract the fluid, and then I'll tell you how to lower the pan in a way that minimizes the mess if you don't have a fluid extractor. Okay, so if you have the luxury of fluid extractor, it's going to be a lot cleaner for you. But if you don't, here's what's going to have to happen. What you're going to do is there's 21 8mm bolts on this. 99% sure it's 21. But what you're going to do is you're going to remove these 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 and 6, right? You're going to remove these bolts. And what you're going to do is you're going to loosen just slightly, well, the rest all around. Slowly start like this and just go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and star opposite pattern or whatever. And just loosen until this side of the tranny pan will come down, obviously, because there's no bolts. You've got this little shield here that will protect it from going all the way over the exhaust, but it's going to spill on both sides of this exhaust. There's nothing stopping it here. So you're going to put some kind of container underneath and just let it drain out until there's nothing left to drain. Okay, so if done correctly, you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts removed, and everything else will be loosened. These being loosened more than these up here, so it can give the pan a tilt, as you can see. So the pan will be tilted, and your fluid will start to seep towards the back of the pan and drain out. Just make sure you have a drip container to catch all of it. And then once it's slow enough, you can just unzip every bolt except one on this side and one on that side. And then you can hold the pan up with your hand or have somebody help you hold it. Or if you're strong enough, hold it one hand and unzip the other 2 screws, and that way you can gently bring it down. Okay, so camera wasn't rolling when I actually did this, so we're going to go through it one more time for educational purposes. Okay, so you've gotten all the bolts out except for two, one on this side, one on this side. You know, hold the tranny pan up, undo one bolt, and then using your strength as a whatever you decide to be, male, female, gender fluid, whatever it is, lower the pan. There will be a gasket. I already pulled the gasket. And then pull the filter. Bring them together to a slop sink, your kitchen sink, whatever. Clean up the pan, which we'll show you how to do. Make sure to clean the pan nicely, the mating surfaces on the pan, and the magnet. All right, once your pan is cleaned and your magnet is cleaned and your gasket surface is cleaned, we can begin to assemble what we're gonna do. So we're gonna grab the filter and the gasket, and we're gonna prepare this pan to go into the transmission. Okay, so we're gonna take our hole where the filter goes into and clean that up. Make sure there's no debris from the old gasket. Make sure it's nice and clean and ready for the new transmission filter. So one thing I like to do when doing a transmission filter, especially on a Ford or pretty much just Fords and some Chevys. Yeah, especially the 14 and newer ones. What I like to set the intention that the transmission is not going to blow up. And what I do is I like to ask the filter to please filter the fluids and the negative energies from entering the valve body and the torque converter, and really bringing down the vibes in the transmission. You know, keep it healthy, keep it happy. Thank you so much, Ford Motor Company Transmissions, and just seal it with a loving embrace. It should just snap right into place, lovingly, happily, you know. And we'll do a little saggy sag there, but once we get the pan, everything's gonna be okay. Let's move on to the gasket. Okay, next we have our gasket, and as you can see, it is sealed. So we're gonna carefully with a knife, so we don't damage the gasket, just the tip. Just the tip. There we go. Slowly slide it out of its little hidey hole. Take your instructions, which says install transmission pan and tighten bolts in crisscross pattern. 2013 and prior models tighten to 11 Newton meters. So we're going to tighten the pan to 11 Newton meters, 99 pound-inch, or inch-pound. 2014 and forward tighten to 80 pound-inch, inch-pound. Over torque of the turn may cause damage to the gasket sealing bead. Inspect the transmission fluid pan to gasket surface for any damage, blah, 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 blah. Cool. All right, so we're looking at 11 Newton meters in a crisscrossy pattern. So looks like this goes like this. Nope, it goes like this. Oh, and you know what? The gasket actually stays in place nicely, so that's pretty good. Pretty good. So we're gonna get the gasket nice and lined up, and now we're gonna go install it into the transmission. Okay. So now our pan is on. The gasket is in place. All the holes are visible. We're just gonna slowly zip these into place. Start up here. Okay. And in a crisscross fashion, okay. All right. Once you have the transmission pan back on and all the bolts torqued to 11 Newton meters, we're going to start filling the transmission pan. Gaskets in, everything looks hunky-dory. So your fill hole is right there. And what you're gonna start with, I would start with 4 quarts and then measure it cold. So the A marking is for cold, the B is for hot. So start with 4. If it's in the A, I would get it to right to where the A and the B meet. And then run the car, let the fluid warm up, and then measure it again. If it's in the B, somewhere in the B, I would let it cool down and then fill it again, measure it cold, and see where it lands. The goal is to basically have it here at the B. If you go slightly above, that's not the end of the world. But yeah, you want to measure it. You want to fill it cold and measure it when it's hot, when it expands, because this stuff expands a lot. And you don't want to overfill it and blow the case. So fill it cold, measure it hot. Wait for it to get cold, fill a little more, measure it hot again. Let's see where we end up. All right, so once you've added the fluid, fire it up. Get the transmission temperature to about 100 degrees and then recheck. I filled it with 6 quarts before it got to the full mark, right at the B. Now let's see where we stand. Just gotta get all the way inside. Look at that. We're not even at the A. So we'll check it again, just to verify. Stick it all the way in, pull it out, and we are pretty low. So we're not even at the A mark, which is cold. We got to get to the B when the transmission temperature is at temp. So let's top it off and see where we land, how many quarts this thing takes. Okay. All right. Once you have the right amount of fluid, you want to bring it down, take it for a drive, and just recheck it one last time after driving about, let's say 50 to 100 miles. Just recheck the fluid when it's warm and make sure you are right where you need to be. This one took 8 quarts of Mercon LV after the tranny filter and letting it drain for a little bit. Typically they take about 7.5 to 8, depending on how long you let it drain. So once you've got the fluid all filled and you've taken it for a drive, you want to bring it back in, double check the fluid level when it's hot, make sure it's in the B, make sure that it's shifting smooth, not clunking or banging into gears or any of that stuff, and just verify that there's no more leaks from the pan. You made sure to tighten that check bolt with the dipstick and you'd be good. And that's it. Make sure to like the video if this helped you at all. Subscribe for more content, and remember, high mileage need love too.